Hello, hello! Greetings and salutations to all the femmes, the they, thems, to all transgender, diverse, and anybody that fits anywhere in this glorious, expansive multiverse. We are here to initiate Night 1 of Sergi versus M.I.L.W. Tonight, we have 6 contests scheduled. For the first part, we will have a deep dive into the history of wrestling as a whole. Then we will have pop culture talk of wrestling. And then following that, we will talk briefly about how exactly it helped one Sergi Desu. With such, we will fall directly into the talk of promotions when it comes to professional wrestling. And then the second to last match will be a sudden talk about terminology found in professional wrestling, in which we will end with the main event of tonight, the fixation of pro wrestling for one Sergi Desu. With that, I ask you all to get ready and find your most delectable snacks, get your most comfy blankets, and settle in as we initiate Night 1 of M.I.L.W. Let's get ready for wrestling!
Hello, my lovelies. This is Sergi Dasu, and welcome to Sergi vs. Pay-Per-View Spectacle, known simply as M.I.L.W. Yes, we're finally here. We're finally doing the thing. As some of you are in the know of, I am a big-time wrestling fan. Am I the most knowledgeable? No, but I am extremely passionate about what the business offers to all of us as an entire society and race. It has been something that has been a part of my life since I was a wee babbin, and I figured it would be within my best interest to go ahead and do some podcasting about it. So this is going to be a 2-night ordeal. We're going to have tonight, and then we're going to have tomorrow night. Very much akin to WrestleMania. If you are familiar with WrestleMania, it used to be one night, but now they do 2 nights. That's how much wrestling they have. It's 2 nights. It's a Saturday and Sunday affair. So I figure, in the spirit of WrestleMania, which has long past happened, it happened back in April, I want to go ahead and do a 2-night special for this. It was originally going to be a one and done deal, but then I had to go ahead and consult some of my lovelies on this, and they told me, why don't you break it up? Make it a little bit more digestible. I was like, yeah, you're right, because this probably would have been almost close to 3 hours. The original plan would have been to have it closer to 3 hours than to go ahead and do like this whole breakup part. So yeah, I want to go ahead and do that for you guys. The announcer, thank you, announcer person, for that nice intro. One note though, I am not actually going to do a. Yeah, it's not going to be deep dive into the history of professional wrestling. That I'm not going to do. Uh, I do intend to go ahead and share a lot as far as like, hey, this is what wrestling did for me, as well as with like what are certain promotions around professional wrestling as far as like all over the globe. Also, like some of the things that I fixate on, like that's a big thing. I might actually lead off with that, but at the same time, I feel like it's only right to kind of get into the history of professional wrestling. That way, we kind of understand like where we're coming from and like where we're going. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of the history of professional wrestling, right? Some fun notes with the history of professional wrestling. Uh, Pre Civil War, it was more so like performance. It was heavily performance. It was a lot of traveling acts uh, in different parts of the globe. Like you have like around France and Europe area, and then of course the United States and whatnot. It was very much a means of passing time for soldiers after the war, of course. But the big thing was that they were looking to have some sort of spectacle to utilize their skills and whatnot. For some people, it was a means of like defense and whatnot, and for others, it was a means of showmanship. And one person that stands out is like a very domineering individual in like I'll say the 19th century, 19th and 20th century, was a duo. There was a gentleman, I believe his name is Martin Burns. Martin Burns, yes. I want to say Martin Burns. And then he had a pupil known as Frank Gotch. These guys, they helped kind of like trend set a lot of the current day professional wrestling. Other notes: Japan, they didn't have professional wrestling break out in Japan until the 50s. The 40s, Mexico. And, of course, with us, ye old United States, it was just shortly after the Civil War when it really started to pop off. So, yeah, just a couple of fun notes. Also, side note, it's not professional wrestling, but it has something to do with wrestling. The Greek god of wrestling, Palestra, known as this is the child of Hermes, not the lover of Hermes, but yes, the daughter of Hermes, Palestra. I gravitate towards Palestra because Palestra was seen as this individual that was very much an androgynous figure. So a lot of people were very much just like nowadays, which is so funny. I might actually talk more about Palestra tomorrow because side note, I'll be getting into a lot of queer wrestling tomorrow night. That's gonna be. I want to save the some of the best for last, right? So yeah, but those are just a couple of little notes, little tidbits about history. I didn't want to deep dive into it super heavy. I might touch on more as I go along, but I do want to segue into some terminology actually that gets used a lot in professional wrestling. So what I'll do is I'll have it kind of in a pairing, like for certain words that kind of complement each other, or they're just kind of like hand in hand, like day and night. So the first ones, these ones actually, I feel like are the most essential in terms of understanding wrestling, and that is heel and babyface. I I like to think that it's self-explanatory, but I get that for some people that might not be self-explanatory. Heel and babyface, that's literally just the villain, the hero. Babyface, you have babyface, but then you have face, and with that, it's like it could be interchangeable. In some cases, I feel like babyface is for somebody that's really kind of coming up into the whole process of being like the good person, and it's like, and sometimes it's like that might be a person that they were a heel, and it's like they decided to go good, like the reformed villain, if you will. That would be a baby face because it's like they may still have some like heelish tendencies, but it's like they're trying to be good. There's a lot of people that kind of have that in them, and it's like you always have that like anti-hero, right? Like a good example would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. You have somebody that walks that fine line, and you're just like, man, like, are they supposed to be the good person or are they the bad person? Actually, I don't care because they're so cool. Like, you just have that one person that's seen, like, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I would say Undertaker's another great example, where it's like some people are just so popular that even when they're supposed to be the villain, you're just like, I don't care. I love this person. I'm going to pop off for them. And for some people in the business, for some people in the business of wrestling, they get a little upset about that. And it's like, what can you do? Like, this person's red hot. The people love them. The crowd is just chanting their name even when they're beating the good guy's ass. Like, you can't really do much about that. Like, it's a sorry, not sorry moment, really. So we're going to move into the next pairing. This actually complements being a heel and a babyface, and that is having heat or being over. And I'll actually throw in like a third one, and that's getting a pop. So when it comes to having being over, this is when you have established yourself so well in the world of wrestling that people, as soon as your name is said in like a promo, or if you're seen on camera or something, or as soon as your music hits, people go crazy. People, they pop off, and that actually is, yeah, that's what it means to get a pop. You get a reaction. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It doesn't always have to be like, yeah, this person's awesome. Maybe be like, oh my god, I hate this person so much. Boo, you suck. That's what a pop is. A pop is just a reaction. So being over, that's when it's like you, as soon as you exist or perceive, people are going off. They're going off. Now, when it comes to heat, that's kind of like being over, but it's the negative connotation. You've done some dubious things. You've said some things in a promo. You might have attacked somebody, and now they're injured, and they're going to be gone for a couple of months. Whatever it may be, you cheated in a match. People are just like, oh, this person, oh, ooh, this person, ooh. When I get my hands on you, when I get my hands on you, that's how they feel. That's having heat. But that's not the only way of getting heat. Sometimes people get heat for some real life stuff that happens outside of the ring. Like it might happen backstage. Like they might genuinely say some like disrespectful stuff about like a fellow wrestler or whatever, or they might do something extremely disrespectful to a fan or whatever. Like typical, like, oh, so and so got caught like fighting somebody, or they were caught cheating on their significant other, or they said some slurs or something on Twitter. Like that's what that is. And it's like that that will affect you greater than if you were to just be some scumbag on camera that cheated in a match or something. Because it's like, okay, in that realm, it's like, hey, well, we expect you to be like this, but you're showing us that you're actually a piece of shit off camera, out of the ring. Yeah. If to I guess a good example of who would be like somebody that has a lot of heat, I would say is like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a great example of somebody that would be a genuine person that has heat. Like you want to talk about a real life heel, that would be him. And his little boy toy, JD. Yeah. Let's see. I actually have like a list that I'm looking at, but it's like I'm kind of just going off of other terms. Kayfabe. What is kayfabe? So kayfabe is essentially just one word that's used, and people are like, "Hey, let's keep the illusion that this is real." So whenever somebody's like, "Hey, keep it kayfabe," it's like, "Hey, keep it up like it's a real thing." Okay, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Just hey, you know the deal, right, brother? Hey, keep the kayfabe. Don't try and it pretty much says, hey, let's not pull the curtain back too much for these people. Even though we're in a day and age where everybody understands that this is a scripted, predetermined event or program, but they would like to suspend belief as much as possible. And there are still people that do their best to try and keep it up like, hey, this is real, brother. I want you to understand that this is real stuff. Don't treat this like it's just some hokey, like men in tights performance act opera. But I mean, let's be real. It's like the realest opera out there, and I enjoy everything about it. For everything that it is, it's the hokiest thing on the planet, but I love it so much. Let's see. We have bump. So bump, I'm going to pair this with two words that, again, kind of like with heat, pop, and over. Bump goes with selling and no selling. So bump, that is the act of you took a hit, or you're getting picked up and dropped, and you're flat backing. And I could even throw that in, flat backing. That's like one of those more technical, nerdy words. But to take a bump, that's just, oh, I got hit, now I'm going to land. And selling is the act of when you take the hit, you are, oh, I'm reacting to it accordingly. There's a version of selling known simply as overselling. That's when you take a hit, like say you get punched in the face, and Instead of just kind of like reeling back real quick, you're like, oh, you're flopping all over the place like you just got destroyed. That's overselling. Now, on the flip side, no selling is you took the hit and you just decided, nah, chief, nah, that didn't hurt. Now, of course, in a lot of cases, these moves aren't meant to actually hurt because they're not trying to actually harm the person that they're working with. Like, you don't intend to actually try and destroy this person and take their life. No, the that's not the purpose behind doing professional wrestling. It's to give the illusion as well as tell a story. But yeah, there's no selling, there's selling, and then there's overselling that goes with bumping. Flat backing, that is when you throw yourself back, you land flat on your back, but you make sure that you protect the back of your head by lifting. So you tuck your chin, right? And you fall backwards and you fall flat on your back. That's flat backing. It's a technique that gets used a lot when people are training at wrestling schools. What is a card? This actually goes with a couple of other words that I'm going to kind of fit in there. So, a card, usually that applies to like the show that is being attended or produced. And not only does it pertain to like the matches, but it also pertains to the concept of like where certain wrestlers are placed in the company. So you'll have the top card, which is like, okay, these are the main people, these are the top billing main eventers, the main event scene. Then you have the mid card, which is where you would find a good chunk of the roster 9 times out of 10. Now, in some cases, you might have a really deep roster and you'll have a lot of people that kind of fit into that top spot. But then that's when they had to start cutting back and they're like, okay, some of these people are going to have to be in like the upper mid card for a while because we have too many top people. That's a great issue and also a bad issue to have because then you get into that weird spot of, oh, well, so and so is not getting used a lot because we have too many top talented people, and that sucks because they don't get to actually do anything because they're sitting at home collecting a check, quote unquote. And it's like, no, that's not the case. It's just you have you only have so much capability to fit people into storylines and whatnot. So that's just the sad reality. And then you have the low card, the jobbers. What does it mean to be a jobber? It means that you're going to be losing 99% of the time. And it is not all bad because your whole objective is to make other wrestlers look good, right? It's like this, it is a very, at times it can be a super thankless position because some people are like, well, I don't really care about this person because all they do is lose. And it's like, yeah, they all they do is lose, but that is their role. And a lot of people do that with pride. Like it is a very humbling position to be in because it's like whenever people come into the world of wrestling, they have this whole thing of I want to be world champion. That's the general consensus when you're getting into wrestling. It's like at first it's like I'm a fan and I want to become a wrestler. This is my childhood dream. Then it's like you elevate from that and you're like, okay, I want to become world champion one day. And it's like for some people that is very much a long con. That's very much a long con. It's not going to happen in the first 3 years. Not everybody is gifted like that. Where it's like they come in, they train, they have the touch, they have the gift, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put you into the mix for a championship, and then bam, hey, they're a champion. Not everybody's got it like that. This is just reality. What does it mean to have a work or a shoot? Well, when something's a work, that means that something is meant to happen. It's scripted. It's as intended. But if you shoot on somebody, if it's a shoot, that means that it's a whoopsie daisy and it wasn't supposed to happen. Now there are times where you have a shoot. There's times where things happen and it's like, oh crap, and you got to do like a big fix. Yeah, it's not the end of the world when that happens, but it is kind of like a oh dang. I got a couple of other terms, but I think I might just skip over that. Um, I like discovering what these things mean, but yeah, it's just oh, but I'll at least throw this one out. That way, it's like because sometimes people will say, "Oh, you look, they got their gimmick working." So gimmick is essentially just what makes you you. It might be the gear, it might be the personality, the look, the way you wrestle. Like, yeah, it's just what makes you you. It's your character. Yeah, that's all that is. All right, so we're gonna slide into now pop culture and wrestling. Yeah, man, because there's a lot with that, like on both ends. There's a saying that I like to use where wrestling is everything and everything is wrestling. And this is true. Like when you sit there and you look at like all the things that go on in our society at times, all the references that get thrown around and whatnot, you have to pay mind to that wrestling has like a touch on everything. And it's like aside from just the obvious like oh well John Cena and Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Batista and all these other wrestlers are in Hollywood and doing things and like the TV shows like I remember I think was it Regis Philbin had the Ultimate Warrior back in the day. You have like so many wrestlers have been on Saturday Night Live. I've lost count. Some people are on Jimmy Kimmel. I think The Undertaker was on Jimmy Kimmel. I think he tombstoned him or something. That was pretty funny. Or not Kimmel. I think it was Fallon. Yeah, I want to say Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. If somebody wants to go and find out, I have no problem with that. Yeah, yeah. I believe Always Sunny had a couple of wrestlers as well, man. Like, but it's just like wrestling finds a way to be in everything because it's entertainment. Like I mean, even with like heck, like music, so many songs that are dedicated to wrestlers and such. Like K Dot with his "Not Like Us" made a reference to Shawn Michaels. Sweet Chin Music and I Come Watch the Ox. That's Shawn Michaels. Yeah, it's very cool, man, because it's like entertainers acknowledging entertainers. Because regardless of how you view wrestlers, they're physical specimens and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, they're still entertainers. And but also, they're also human beings, and they're gonna have like their nerd out moments and all these other things. And it's always super fun to see them in other things. But on the flip side, like it's so cool when you see entertainers come into the world of wrestling and they actually are invested in doing good and having like exciting programs and stuff with like wrestlers. Also, side note, what's a program? Well, a program or an angle is a storyline. That's all that is. So like a great like here one person that stands out to me is one of the greatest entertainers to transition into the world of wrestling in the like current day is Bad Bunny. I implore you, I think, yeah, what I'll do is I'll actually link it in the show notes and everything. What I'll do is, yeah, I'll link that as well as a couple other things because there's a couple other things I want to link. But Bad Bunny has had one of the greatest runs to the point where it's like he's been in three, no, I think just two WWE wrestling games, 2K games. And it's like, he's just that good. Like, somebody talked about it where it's like Bad Bunny was like, he went to do the Grammys, he went to do a show, and then would come back to WWE to train and do a program. And I was like, yo, like, it's one thing to just be like an entertainer that just comes on as like, hey, you smile and wave to the crowd. A wrestler comes out, talks some junk to you. You're kind of like, oh man, all right, I see how it is. And then you throw a punch that knocks him out because we're trying to make you look strong, brother. But like, it's another thing to be like, hey, I actually enjoy doing this, and I'm gonna learn how to actually wrestle and have full on matches with other wrestlers, and I'm holding my own and they're doing their best to make me look great, but I'm also putting in the work to make myself look great, just to show them that I'm not just here to collect a like participation check or whatever. Like, we're at that day and age, because I remember back in the day you just had like randos that would just show up and whatever, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's all it is they're just like, hey, yeah, this wrestling thing's kind of interesting, I guess I could go ahead and cash in on it real quick. And it's like, that's no longer the case. Like, I remember they had the boys from Jackass, like way back in like the ruthless aggression days, and it was so goofy because it's like they didn't really understand the world of wrestling like that. So anytime they took a hit, like they were essentially just kind of no selling the move, and it was pissing off the wrestler, and it was just like, this is, ah, man, this is rough. Like, and as they kind of had this whole stigma on like, oh, you're really gonna bring in some rando that doesn't wrestle, like, oh god, we already know how this goes. Like, even like they had the whole thing with Floyd Money Mayweather and the Big Show, and I was like, I wasn't really a fan of that because I don't care about Mayweather at all. I was like, of course, like, I mean, Big Show is the most like professional showman. Like, he's been in a lot of situations where he's just been kind of put through the ringer and kind of left out, left to be kind of the laughing stock because he's just this big giant dude. But yeah, like, it's really cool to see how all these different industries are kind of getting paired up with one another, and they're kind of just paying respects to one another, and it's going to continue to grow. Like, it's not just like musicians, you'll have like sports ball people, like it happens all the time. It's like almost every week they go to a different city that has like a major sports team, and it's like they always do that hard cam to the crowd where it's like, hey, look, this is the sports ball player from the sports team, yeah, the home sports team, and everybody's losing their crap. Like, heck, I mean, WrestleMania, they had, like, because they were in Philadelphia, they had the football team, they had two of the players. It was inevitable. But that's okay, because, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that? At the end of the, man. Also, minor note, I love like the wrestling references found in anime and video games. Usually it's just in the form of like wrestling moves, or in some cases, like with anime, they might even make references to like wrestlers or storylines in wrestling and all that stuff. And I'm just like, man, that's dope. I like that. Professional wrestling is so special to me, right? I know that was just like the oddest segue, but it's like I'm just sitting here thinking about it. Professional wrestling is extremely special to me. Why is that? It's because it's done a lot for me. It's done a lot for me in these last, sheesh, 20 years, and even more so than that. Like, I mean, I've been watching since like the 90s, like the late 90s, mid to late 90s, yes. But in terms of like when it really started to take off, I think about when I got to experience my first live show, and that was in 2004, right? But to preface this, is like, yes, I've been watching since like mid to late 90s, and it was always like a family get together sort of thing. Like, okay, we have our days. I go to school, parents come home from work, and it's like, hey, yeah, we're gonna watch Monday Night Raw or WCW, because I was there during that time when they had the Monday Night Wars and everything. It was super cool, man. Super cool to enjoy all that. And then you had like all the other shows, and it's like whenever a pay per view would come up, it's like mom and dad will work together, and then bam, hey, we got the pay per view. We're gonna watch WrestleMania. Be like, oh wow, that's so cool. It was just something that I did with the family. Heck, I mean, it's because of wrestling that even at a young age, as a wee child in a black family, I was able to get away with saying cuss words. Like, anytime it was like a Stone Cold having a promo, and he'd be like, I'm the meanest, dumbest son of a bitch this side of the Mississippi. And then I would actually say, like, bitch, and then it's like, yeah, Mr. Ass, Badass Billy Gunn. And it's just like, that was the only time I could get away with that, was because of pro wrestling. That's like I had to make sure I wasn't getting too happy with it because then I'd go ahead, I get the side eyes, and then it's like, oh, I might have to go to bed early. Oh no, but yeah, like it was always a family thing, and it's like in 2004, WWE they had a pay per view in Norfolk, Virginia, and I was staying in Virginia, and it was the Great American Bash. It was at the Norfolk Scope, and somehow, some way, my I didn't ask too many questions, but my dad, one of his friends, uncle, they got money together to get tickets to this pay per view, and it's like it was me, him, mom, uncle, aunt, my cousins, friend had his wife and their kid, and it was just we were deep, bro. I was losing my mind. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm finally at a WWE show! Oh my god! Oh yeah!" It is like it was so special to me because it's like I saw like I was looking at the posters and I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be Eddie Guerrero!" It's like Eddie is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. I love Eddie Guerrero dearly, man. Like, am I a diehard? Like, I know everything about Eddie? No, but I just love Eddie, man. And it's like, it still hurts me to this day that he's gone. Like, he, like, after that, like, it was a couple years later he passed away, and I was destroyed, man. Like, even though I didn't know him personally, it's just one of those things. It's like with your favorite fictional character or something, or your favorite, like, entertainer, and they just pass away. Like, it hurt, man. But that was the first and unfortunately the last time that I got to see him live. And I remember just being like literal feet away from him at one moment in the match because they were going to go through a table. And I managed to get up by the barricade, and I was just sitting there like, oh my God, there's Eddie Guerrero right there. He's literally right there. And it's like intrusive thoughts is like, can I just like yell at him and just see if he'll like high five me? But I mean, he's not going to do that. He's in the middle of the match. Like, just me being like a goofy little kid, just like not thinking about how the business is working. And it's just like, it sticks with me to this day. I was like, man, I got to see Eddie Guerrero. I didn't get to shake his hand. I didn't get to talk to him about life or anything, but it's like just a chance to get to see him, man. It means the world to me. Now, years later, of course, with him passing away, another tragedy struck, and that was my parents divorcing. Ended up moving from Virginia. I'd been in Virginia since I was like 1 years old, and just I mean, like the years kind of I don't want to say it was just like because of the passing of Eddie or anything like that's just goofy to say, but like ever since I would say middle school, like I could tell like my parents were just not in love with each other like they used to be. I mean, it is what it is. That's just how life is. Like, we're not always going to be with the people that we think we're meant to be with for the rest of our lives. But, like, it was hard to really process because I'm getting uprooted from a place that I've spent, like, over 13 years in, right? And then we went back to where I was born. Like, I went back to my hometown. But it just didn't feel the same, man. Like, a lot of the people that I grew up with, like, as far as, like, my childhood friends, like, we, we'd done a lot together. We had sleepovers and all this other stuff. Went to birthday parties and all this other stuff. Parents were friends with one another. It's just, yeah. And we even talked about wrestling all together. And to have that just kind of taken away and uprooted, it was rough, man. I didn't know how to process it. So I would finish out high school. I'd go through the motions, work a lot of dead end middling jobs. Had some relationships that didn't work out, didn't pan out, fell through. We got to enjoy going to some conventions though. But that was a good point. That was a good that was a nice little moment. And then came me going to Utah. That was the other thing that happened. And with being in Utah, it wasn't really something that I had saw in my future or anything, but like it was more so just an experience. Like I went over there to do schooling and whatnot, and it was whatever. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I went because it's like while there, I was able to rekindle my love for professional wrestling in a way. Because it's like, it started out with me discovering some videos on YouTube because I was just doing my typical YouTube deep dive and all this other stuff. And that led into me getting recommended a match. And it was from the NXT. It was from NXT. I didn't know what the hell NXT was. I was just like, okay. I was like, well, it's been a while since I've watched wrestling. I'll see what's up. It was Takeover Philadelphia 2018. It was Andrade Cien Alamos, the champion, versus one Johnny Gargano. And when I say this match hit different than anything I had watched in a long time, the biggest standout was these guys didn't look like a lot of the guys that I remember watching in like the 90s and 2000s. And, I mean, they look they look closer to what I would possibly be if I was wrestling. Shorter guys, not 275 pounds, 6'5", just oozing muscle and testosterone. They were more like maybe 6 foot on a good day, maybe 6'1", but probably like sub 6 foot, and they were like 205 pounds at best. And the way that these guys were wrestling, you would have thought that they were like big time main eventers in the WWE scene. Little did I know that NXT is actually a part of WWE after I started kind of digging deeper. But it started this massive, it started this rabbit hole effect, right? So I was go on to start looking up more information on this. I started going and finding out what the hell all this was. And I was very pleased with what I was able to find. More often than not, like in like that span of a year, because I mean I say that, but it's like for like the past couple of months I had been watching other things. Like I discovered this weird promotion called Pro Wrestling Guerrilla PWG based out of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and all these other things. And I was like, this is what I've been missing in the last decade or so. Wow, where was this at when I was like really going through it, man? Because that would have helped me in so many ways, but it's like there was a reason for it. Because then I discovered New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I discovered that while for the most part they were exclusive to Japan, they were looking to kind of broaden their horizons, and they were going to do a show in the United States. And I was like, okay, that's what's up. Oh, cool. I wonder where they're going to go first. And come to find out, they were going to run a show in California, just outside of San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco. And I was like, yo, say less. I have money. I'm going to buy a ticket. I have that ticket. I still have that ticket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo, and I'm actually going to put it, I'm going to share it here for the people that are on the blog. It's going to be down in the bottom. For those that are on Spotify, I implore you to go to my blog, sergiverse.substack.com. How about that plug, brother? And yeah, I'm going to have the photo of that ticket that I still hold and I carry with me. Because in conjunction to 14 years prior, right? 14 years prior, being in that setting and having all that energy, and I'm seeing all these wrestlers that I had only just discovered through watching YouTube videos on them and just kind of catching up on like storyline things. Like, my God, dude, you want to talk about an experience, right? I left there and I was like, yo, wrestling is real, dude. Not like, oh, everything that they do is like, yeah, like, no, it's just it's like that. It's legit. Wrestling is legit in the sense of it's amazing. It's not hokey, it's not crappy. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a work of art. It's a form of art. And I was just it had me wrapped around his finger, brother. So and then 2019 I ended up going to not North Carolina. I went to Tennessee, not too far from North Carolina. I ended up going to Tennessee. I moved in with my bestie in this little town of Murfreesboro, like 30 plus miles south of Nashville. And I'm just kind of like going through the motions again, as like I was getting a feel for Tennessee. Murfreesboro wasn't bad. It was a small college town. I was just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life now, and then we get this newfound company, wrestling company, All Elite Wrestling. Now, the year prior, when I was just riding high on the glories of wrestling, there was this little put together show called All In from a bunch of guys that had been working companies that were not WWE, and they're like, we want to do something different, right? We want to change the world. And they had All In, and it sold out, and it was red hot. It was white hot, even. And it was, from what I saw, it was a work of art, man. It was something insane. And then it came to be in 2019, January 2019, these guys made the announcement that they are going to have a full-fledged wrestling company that is going to be televised called All Elite Wrestling. I was like, oh, that's what's up, brother. We're getting more wrestling in the world. And they were showcasing like all the places they're gonna be. They started out in Washington D.C. and all that stuff, and they're like, hey, here's gonna be the tour list for the year. And then I see in November of 2019 they're coming to Nashville, Tennessee. And when I say that I bought a ticket with the swiftness, I was like, I don't give a damn what I need to buy today. I'm buying a ticket. And I didn't look back. I bought that ticket. November hits. I'm there. I find a bus from Murfreesboro all the way up to Nashville. And just to preface how like invested I was, I came to find out that there wasn't that the buses were that one bus line was gonna stop running before the show started. I got there early, and the bus line was gonna stop before the show even like commenced. And I was like, I don't give a damn, brother. I'm gonna watch this show, and I'll figure out how I get home. If I have to spend the night in Nashville, I'm going to spend the night in Nashville. I watched the show. I had a great time. I got to take a photo with this wrestler by the name of Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy. I still have that photo on my Instagram. I might actually link that. Funny story. They came back a couple of years later because this was before COVID, and then they stopped. And then, what was it, 2020? It was either 21 or 22. Yes, I think it was 22. They were in Nashville again, and I took another photo with the same wrestler. So I'm gonna try my best to link those, or I'll just like screen cap them and put them in the show notes in the bottom. But this is all this rambling is to say that wrestling has done a lot for me and continues to do a lot for me, and I just want to just give it all the love and props that it deserves, man. Like, it's something special, for real, for real. And I wouldn't change it for the world, brother. Nothing. I wouldn't change anything for the world, brother. I do so much for wrestling, man. Like, all the wrestlers are cool, and I mean, I don't try and put them on a pedestal too much. I still have my moments. There are certain wrestlers that stand out, like one wrestler in particular that I will go feral for at times. Not like, oh, I want to stalk this person, but I just love her, man. It's Asuka. She was one of the people that I discovered when I was like first getting back into wrestling, like rediscovering that love for wrestling. Because I saw her when she was wrestling in Japan under her actual name of Kanako Urai. Asuka, to kind of give face, Asuka is such a multifaceted individual. Like, she has a YouTube, Kana-chan TV, where she does a lot of cool, like, slice of life things. She plays video games and all this stuff, and she kind of shows her daily life. She used to be a journalist for Xbox Magazine. Really cool. Still big into gaming. She has a lot of different businesses back in Japan, and she used to be a former ice skater, man. She's friggin' dope. I love Asuka. And she's a Libra. Like, I don't know about you, brother, but you have to understand how great us Libras are, brother. We sit at the top of the mountain for a reason. You can sit there and you can talk your talk, but you have to come to terms with the fact that we are the champions of the signs, brother. It's nothing personal, okay? It's just that when you get with a Libra, you know that you're gonna get elevated to a higher standard. Because that's what we are. We are the golden standard, brother. Get with the times, man. Get with the times, and you'll go far. I promise you that. But yeah, love Asuka, love wrestling is beautiful. Now, I've been talking about a lot of different companies or promotions rather, right? But like, what about all these other like companies? Like, I don't understand. Like, okay, I got you. I'll help you out. So, outside of like WWE, which everybody knows about, we have a lot of other wrestling promotions. I'll start with the UK because it's like I'm not super familiar, but I at least remember a couple of ones. I know they have Rev Pro, they have Progress. I think they have something called ASW. All Star Wrestling. I'm gonna say ASW. I hope so. For any British listeners, UK listeners, please correct me. In the States, obviously, we have WWE, we have All Elite Wrestling, we have Ring of Honor, which a lot of wrestlers have that are currently wrestling right now in all these different companies are kind of descendants of Ring of Honor, as well as Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is in this weird kind of stage where it's like it's not really major. I mean, it still does tournaments, I know that. But it is it's not a big company, but it's where a lot of wrestlers have made their killing. And I feel like if you ever want to see like where certain wrestlers before they got put on WWE came from, look at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG. There are a lot of infamous clips that I've come across from PWG that put me onto a lot of great wrestlers. And I can only say that, like, if you want to be entertained, then look at PWG. Because I feel like they really nailed entertainment in a way that WWE, they tried to do at times, but they failed miserably because it's like it was a very corporate style company. Outside of those, there is another one, NWA. It's a old school kind of like this your granddad's wrestling company. It for a couple of years ago, it came back really strong. Billy Corrigan, I think, of the Smashing Pumpkins, he ended up buying the company, right? And it's like for a while they were running shows exclusively off of YouTube, which I thought was a fantastic move. Like in this day and age, like not everybody's gonna have cable. Not everybody's gonna want to try and tune in to whatever channel your wrestling show's on. So it's like having it on a streaming service or just a like something like YouTube. Great idea. It made me. It's kind of like how I felt about when G4 came back for a brief stint and it was on Twitch. I was like, I'm actually okay with this because it's like I didn't have like TV. I was just mainly YouTube and Twitching. Japan has a lot of different promotions. A lot of the promotions in Japan, it's like they kind of get split up in. It's like you have New Japan, of course. That's kind of the main one. That's like New Japan is WWE essentially. There's also All Japan. That's another promotion that came in like the late seven or not the late '70s, the early '70s. Yes. There's DDT Pro Wrestling. That one's pretty hilarious at times. And Dragon Gate. Dragon Gate is some serious one, man. And Pro Wrestling Noah. So All Japan, DDT Pro Wrestling, Dragon Gate, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Noah. But then we don't just have those. We have Joshi, which is predominantly Fem. So we have World Wonder Ring Stardom, which is just Stardom. And then you have Chokyo Joshi Puroresu, also known as TJPW. You have Asuka Puroresu. You have, I'm trying to think, what's another one? Gleet, yes, Gleet. They have Gleet. I almost forgot about Gleet. They have Gleet and I think Gambare Puroresu. They have a lot of other like smaller ones that it's like I wouldn't be able to name off the top of my dome piece. I would have to like look at a list or something. I think there should be one called strong style because that's a very prominent term used in Japanese in Puroresu is strong style. I think strong style pro wrestling. I hope so. Somebody that's more well versed will tell me. And then there's this one known as Triple Six. There was this one wrestler that I discovered, and it was you want to talk about thirst traps like this wrestler, like he was caked up in the front and the back. That's all I have to say. But I was just like, yo, who is this person? And I was like, oh wait, what is this wrestling promotion? And it's like Triple Six. I think it's something. I think it's wrestling of something Triple Six. But yeah, it's just oh my god, I have to go back to see. But yeah, that's a little nugget into the world of promotions. I hope that gets you started on looking for things, right? Now, I do want to go ahead and get into briefly some of the fixations that I have obtained with the world of professional wrestling, right? Like I yap and I yap and I yap, and it's like, okay, well, you have to have some fixations on this, right? Yes, of course. One of the biggest ones is the music. The music is a certified banger. Let me tell you something, right? You want to get motivated or you want to feel some power, just like, yes, anime music does it 9 times out of 10. Video game soundtracks do it a lot of times. Go listen to some wrestling theme music songs. I promise you. Just go through WWE theme songs, just any theme songs, and like just listen. You want some motivation? Doesn't always have to be like, oh, I gotta get pumped up and mad and angry. Just yeah, go and listen to some wrestling music. You will see. You will know. But another thing that I get really hype about is like gear, the wrestling attire. Because like certain wrestlers, they have some really baller attire. A group that I really thinks that I really feel like kind of set the trend for amazing coordinated gear is the New Day. One of my favorite all-time groups. I love every member of that group. Go look at their gear throughout the years. I mean, they've done like the Saiyan gear. They came out of a giant box of their own cereal called Bootios, and they came out in Saiyan gear. They've done Power Rangers gear. They've done a lot of great gear. And it's like they've also done gear that's centered around like the black culture because I mean they're all black. But God, man, they love the New Day. Another wrestler that stands out that I love, like whenever they do like nerd gear, is like Rhea Ripley. She's done some nerd gear. I remember she did Vegeta's Saiyan armor for WrestleMania. That was super fire. Jade Cargill, another muscle mommy. She's been Storm. She's literally been Jade from Mortal Kombat, and she continues to do a lot of cool gear as well. She just did Miruko from Boku no Hero because they had a tour in Japan and she was Miruko. Another, oh, and how could I forget this one person? She is like the epitome of like nerding out every time she steps into the ring, and that is Zelina Vega. Some wrestling gear of note that she's done. She has done. She's also done Jade from Mortal Kombat. She has done Rengoku from Demon Slayer. She has also done Vega from Street Fighter, and she's also done Street Fighter 6 version of Judy Han. And she continues to be a big nerd. She continues to be an amazing human being. She has a podcast, which I may just link that. Why not? I might just link that. She also has like a YouTube and stuff, and she streams. But that's something I might get into for tomorrow's episode. Is just like some wrestlers that I really love that are just big ass nerds, and yeah. It, what is something else that I'm fixated on that I kind of have this nerdism for? Wrestling moves. When I say I have this unhealthy obsession with knowing about wrestling moves, when I say I have this weird fixation with emulating certain wrestling moves, when I say I should not be allowed to watch certain things because I will assuredly just default to, oh, that could be a good counter into this. Yeah. So I'm the type of person that I'll sit there and be like, man, that was a really good snap suplex. Man, they nailed the hell out of that tornado DDT. Oh man, that power bomb was crisp. I'm that person. I'm that person that you'll be sitting there like, whoa, that was sick. I don't even know what that was. Oh yeah, so that was a modified brain buster. Yeah, it just had a nice snap on it. They cradled that neck and they just bam dropped it down real fast. I'm that person. I'm the person they're gonna just kind of side eye like, are you okay? Like, you kind of know way too much about this. Like, yeah, I know. Like, I study this. Do I know every move? Hell no. But I know quite a bit, and I feel like I need to calm down. But I'm really passionate about it. So whenever I see certain moves done in like a movie, a TV show, an anime, or whatever, like whenever I see somebody do a move, it's like, okay, that was a pretty solid yeah, that was a pretty solid Ushigoroshi. Oh man, like I see the way that they hit that super kick. Gosh, that was meaty. And like it was just the way that they hit those moves is insanity. Like I'm that type of person, right? And I understand that they can be to a detriment, but that's just what I'm passionate about. That's my fixation, man. That's why this is the fixation station. And I I will say to some degree it kind of takes the fun out of things because you'll have the people that they'll see somebody do a quote unquote wrestling move and they'll be like, oh man, they did the RKO, yeah, the RKO, oh the stunner, yeah, brother, the super kick. And I'm like, brother, that was like a swinging net breaker. My guy, that was just like a pump kick. That was not that was not a stunner. That was just him doing like a jawbreaker. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, what? Like, you're a big nerd. Shut up. Like, yeah, I know. It's my curse. And the last thing, what is the last thing that I get so fixated on is booty. It is the dumpies. It is the caked up individuals. They don't even have to be wearing the little trunks. They could be wearing pants. Like, it is the, oh man, because they're athletes, and it's like not every cheeks, man. It's booty. When they do certain moves, and you just see that nice jiggle, and you're just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what it's all about, brother. Yeah, baby, that's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Yeah, yeah, I mean, this is me we're talking about. You already know the deal. But yeah, I think this is a fantastic stopping point. And to kind of pull the curtain back, pray for me, okay? This is not the first, not the second, or the third, or the fourth. This is the fifth time I have recorded. And if you're kind of like, well, the audio's kind of meh, yeah, that's because I'm doing this off of my phone now. Every time I tried to record this on my Chromebook, that some bitch failed. Every time. Could not render, could not process, did not download, did not save. I got hoed at every possible angle. To quote the great Cody Rhodes, "Where's that referee? Where's that referee? He tried to fuck on me." That's exactly what happened. This Chromebook tried to fuck on me. And now I can only hope and pray that this comes out decent enough, because I'm just going to go ahead, just cut it, download it, put the music on, and I'm just going to upload it. I'm not even going to think about it, brother. I'm done. I'm done. I tap out. I tap out, bro. I can't do this anymore. To the people that I told this to prior to, yes, please understand that I've been struggling to get this. So, thank you for listening to night 1 of M.I.L.W. I hope and pray that night 2 goes smoother than this. And, yeah, stay caked up, stay healed up, and watch wrestling. Love you. Bye.